welcome to the Cool Story Bry podcast. My name is Bryan McConnell, and I'm here with your guys' favorite guest, my girlfriend, Kristen.
What's up?
What's up, dude? I wanted to kind of get on a little bit of a positive note today and maybe talk about some little things that one may do in order to help improve their lives. I'm sure they already know what they need to do, but we'll just reinforce it here today. And what made me think of this was what we saw while we were having sushi the other day. After our last Hypnobabies class, we graduated.
Yeah. Woo, we get to have a baby now.
Yeah, the baby's pretty much born. So how would you describe what we saw outside the window?
Yeah. Okay, so it was a large man, a very large man. I would say he was of probably average height, but about 300 pounds.
We couldn't tell how tall he was.
I'm just guessing from whatever. He was sitting in a chair, a mobile chair,
a motorized chair.
Yeah. Yeah, he looked to be about 300 pounds, so he was very overweight. And he had somehow hooked up a wagon, right? It was a wagon.
Yeah,
it was like
back. It was like one of those
like a kid's wagon.
Those red flyer wagons.
Yeah.
To the back.
And there were two kids in tow, but they were probably like 11 and 12 or 12 and 13. Like they were older.
And they were hauling
kids.
Ass. I barely got a glimpse of them.
I know. I was like, oh my God, Bryan, look. I pointed him out.
Was there a woman sitting on his lap? Or was he just was he just that big?
I think, yeah, I didn't see anyone sitting on his lap. I just saw him.
Okay. He might have just been that big then.
Yeah.
I thought someone was sitting on his lap.
No, he was just a very large man.
And he was also pulling two kids. The battery on that thing's going to die quick. But,
this was in downtown Denver. Mm-hmm. So who knows where they were going?
Yeah.
Where did they come from?
What are the batteries like on those things?
I have no clue.
The reason why I asked what you thought and how you would describe it is because the only way I could describe it, like I immediately thought that's a diabetes train.
Yeah, it was so funny. You said that to me the other day. I remember that diabetes train and I was like, what are you talking about? I imagined like a real train.
It might as well have been a real train. With by the weight. Anyway, enough fat shaming, I guess.
That's what I'm talking. The battery life on those, though. I mean, like the heavier you are, the more energy it takes to move. So
it's got to, right? And I thought there was four people.
And he was pulling two
very obese kids for their age.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm pretty sure that they were looking at their cell phones. Now it's not negative. It's not negative to be looking at your cell phone. Everyone says, oh, you shouldn't be looking at your cell phone. You should enjoy nature. Stop and smell the flowers. It's not a negative thing to be looking at your cell phone. Your cell phone is basically a laptop now. You can do many, many things on it. They could be looking at a calculator. Probably about 90% of the time I'm looking at my cell phone, it's to rewind my podcast that I'm currently listening to, or I'm taking notes on something.
Yeah.
I rarely use it to actually text or play games or send emails or anything like that.
Yeah, but you're not most people, Bryan.
No, I know.
I would say most people are on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter.
Yeah.
One of those.
But when a very large kid is sitting in the back of a wagon getting pulled by his 300-pound father.
I mean, it looked like fun. I'm not going to lie, but
I know. Had it been some healthier looking people, I probably would have been like, go for it. But the sad thing is movement is one of the biggest keys to survival.
Right.
Or at least surviving a long period of time.
And the crazy thing about that is that when you get that big, it gets so hard to move. So it's kind of like a negative feedback loop where once you become 300 pounds, it's so hard to walk down the street that it's easier to get in a chair. Then you gain even more weight and it makes it even more harder. And it's just a never ending cycle.
So yeah, what does happen when the battery dies though?
Yeah, good question.
I don't know. Did he have like a little garage for that thing?
Right.
So yeah, I've been on a documentary kick recently, watching documentaries at work while I click and hit the keys on my keyboard.
What kind of documentaries?
Well, you knew I couldn't sleep last night because I watched that serial killer documentary and got some nightmares. But
is that all you've been watching? Those
no.
Killer ones?
Today I watched a documentary. It was produced by Leonardo DiCaprio, actually.
Oh, is it the nature one? Or
I don't know about the nature one, but this one was called Before the Flood, and it's about climate change, and global warming.
The nature one.
Yeah. Yes, it is the nature one. You're right. That was actually the subtitle. It was Before the Flood, the nature one.
The nature.
But
yeah,
it was really good. I enjoyed it. Now I've never been one of those people who thought that climate change was a hoax. I've never been one of those Republicans that receives a check for telling everyone that climate change is made up by scientists.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think everyone agrees on climate change. I think it's global warming that is the issue, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Climate change and global warming. I mean, when the climate changes, it could warm up or cool down. But it's
right.
When they say the term climate change, they're talking about global warming.
I see what you're saying.
So, yeah, the documentary pretty much went over. It pretty much said we're fucked. Yeah, we're screwed over. But no, Leonardo did a really good job. They showed us some clips of people on the news criticizing him at the beginning because he was elected as the official spokesperson for climate change by the UN. And they showed a whole bunch of people.
He was elected, or he decided,
I think,
or he like raised his hand.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that there was some sort of election process that took place. But either way, he is the official spokesperson for the UN about climate change. And they showed a whole bunch of news clips of like news anchors making fun of the fact that some Hollywood guy who has no science experience at all is the official spokesperson for.
I mean, they don't know that he has no science experience. What if that's his hobby?
Well, they're probably not wrong.
Yeah, but I mean, what if he reads a lot of books and talks to a lot of professors and stuff in his spare time? And I'm just saying, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's nice to play devil's advocate on that sort of thing, but I wouldn't disagree with them. I think they are absolutely correct in saying that he has no experience when it comes to climate change. However, I still believe personally that he is the perfect choice for someone he's the perfect choice as someone for being the spokesperson for climate change. And the reason why I think that's the case is because he doesn't really know anything, and he's willing to learn. You can tell that he's interested in the subject, and he's got a desire to learn. He's got money, so that definitely helps with anything really. He's basically, in my opinion, the Joe Rogan of climate change. He doesn't have any experience, but he's got the desire to learn. He's got the connections to get out there and meet people. And he's willing to ask questions.
Plus, he's
get down to the body.
Yeah.
Of the whole thing.
Plus, I mean, he's a face that everybody knows. So.
Yes. Yeah. Plus, who are you going to listen to? Some scientist that you never heard of, or Leonardo DiCaprio?
Right. I know. As sad as that is. Yeah.
Kim Kardashian has the most Twitter followers of something like that. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway. Yeah, we like our celebrities. So. Yeah, the documentary was really good, and one of the things that they said that we could do, there's always a positive turn at the end of those documentaries, which is nice because it's pretty much doom and gloom for the first hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But one of the positive things that they mentioned is one small step that we could take to help reduce the amount of CO2 and methane that's released into the atmosphere is consume less beef.
Right.
And I'm all down for that because I'm kind of over hamburgers. I enjoy a steak every once in a while. So
Right, and that's the point. Every once in a while.
Yeah, you really shouldn't. I mean, you know more about this than I do, but when it comes to red meat, you probably shouldn't be consuming it very often anyway. Just because it's probably not the healthiest.
Well, right. I mean, if you get the stuff that they sell at the grocery stores, the mainstream stuff where they feed cows corn and who knows what else.
Yeah,
that stuff's bad for you.
So yeah, it was something along the lines of 78% of U.S. soil is used for farming and that sort of thing.
For cows or for all agriculture?
I think that's all agriculture. And I'm not sure how much of that was cows, but only 1% was for vegetables and fruits.
Wow, no way.
Yeah. And a majority of it was obviously for cows. I think chickens used about, based on the little graph that they showed, chickens used about 25% of the amount of land that.
Oh, I'm surprised it's even that much.
That a cow would. So.
Oh.
Yeah, this was a separate graph, but.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I guess I'm gonna start consuming less beef, and I've been wanting to do that. I don't even remember the last time.
I was gonna say I feel like we do that anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, we buy ground turkey instead of ground beef.
Yeah. And yeah, that was one of the small changes that you can make is just maybe go more towards the poultry side of things. And then you're consuming you're consuming a meat that releases 80% less methane and carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So
and uses less water too, right?
They didn't go into that, but you heard that in a separate documentary, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I heard that cows use up a lot of water.
Yeah, that's a given. They're huge.
Right.
Plus, I've always been a big fan of like the Hindu religions. And,
where they feel like cows are sacred.
Yeah. And I grew up on a farm, and although a lot of my buddies would probably laugh at me for saying this, my buddies from high school would laugh at me for saying this. I find cows to be very sweet creatures. And they used to...
Really? You think that they would laugh at you for saying that? I feel like any farmer who raises cows would agree with you.
I think they would laugh at me just because I remember hearing all the time how stupid cows are.
Oh, I see.
And yeah, I suppose you could say they're stupid in comparison to a human being. But I do believe that if given the right opportunities, they could be very, very well-behaved and well-trained creatures if taken care of correctly.
Yeah, I agree.
Instead of just put on a grassland to graze and then eventually get shipped off to a slaughterhouse. So.
Yeah. So you're saying if we eat less of all foods or just meat, we can help the planet?
One scientist was just saying instead of consuming strictly beef, try to switch over to poultry, and that because a chicken results in 80% less methane and mainly methane than a cow does. So,
yeah. I wonder where pigs fit into that.
Yeah, they didn't even mention pigs. I was kind of surprised that they didn't. And maybe it's because we like bacon so much.
I mean, but we love hamburgers too. But anyways, okay, so this is what I'm getting from what you're saying. So if we ate less beef, we could help the planet and not be so fat and make diabetes trains. Is that?
I guess one positive to the diabetes train is that it was electrical powered, because obviously the biggest proponent of climate change is the amount of CO2 that we're releasing into the atmosphere from factories and cars and transportation and all that kind of stuff. That's an obvious given. I think it's really ignorant for all these Republicans to say that we're not the result of the Earth's climate changing, when we're obviously putting exhaust into the atmosphere every single day.
Yeah.
Multiple hours of the day.
Yeah.
It's just really ridiculous. It's like if I were to have a bucket of water and I were to drop a drop of dye into it every so often, you can't tell me that the bucket of water is still clear, you know? So.
Yeah. I wanted to tell you, when I took the train home from your work the other day, it only took me an hour to get home.
Okay. Why'd you want to tell me that?
Because I know you drive down to work every day, and I know you have to, like on Tuesdays and Thursdays when you go to jiu-jitsu, but on the other days you can take the train. And I know one reason why you like to drive is because you listen to your podcast, but you can listen to your podcast on the train too.
Obviously. Yeah. No, the reason actually why I like to drive, and I'm definitely not saying that I'm a perfect person either, because we all have a carbon footprint. But I am guilty of liking to drive. And the reason why is because public transportation in America is still a bit pricey because we haven't figured it out yet.
That's right. I forget you have to pay for it. I don't have to pay. Well, I pay for it with my tuition from school.
From school, yeah.
But I don't physically, doesn't come right out of my pocket.
Yeah.
So it is really pricey. You're right.
I would really like it if we could nail down the public transportation system as well as they have it in Europe. But the problem is we're a brand new country. We're a baby in comparison to other countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, Europe has been around so long. Of course they would have figured it out by now. So, one good thing about the United States of America is I believe we're only number 2 in the amount of carbon dioxide emissions.
Who's beating us? China?
Yes. China. China. So yeah, I guess that's nice. We're not first at something. So yeah, what do we do? How do we fix this?
I think we are first in obesity rates, though.
Per capita?
And overweight. I don't know.
I would assume so. Just based on what I see here in Colorado, there's still a lot of fatties here in Colorado. Yeah, I'm calling you out. And apparently Colorado is one of the more healthy states.
Yeah, they are. Colorado's like the leanest state in America, which isn't saying much, but I mean, it's saying a lot.
Yeah. I don't know what we could do on a large scale. I think we just all really need to start having faith in humanity. Quit talking down to each other and saying stuff like the world's screwed and we're all fucked and stuff like that. We actually need to have faith in us as a people and get together and actually really make the small changes in your community to help the world, really. Like, I was trying to think of what I could do today, and the only thing I could possibly think of is let's make a podcast about it. And yeah, there's only going to be a few people that listen to this, but maybe the people that do listen to this will go check out that documentary. So yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see it too. I just haven't had the time.
And you're not even attracted to Leonardo DiCaprio.
I was when I was 10 years old.
Well, that's because of Titanic.
Yeah. Who's totally on my celebrity crush list.
When I was a kid, I would take showers, I would actually throw my hand up against the glass of the shower and slide it down.
Like when they're in the car.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's funny.
Okay, so we as a species should try to consume more fruits and vegetables, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
That's definitely not going to hurt. And I would like you to maybe just tell us a little bit about fruits and vegetables? When we first started dating, you were mentioning how you like to eat broccoli, and I was like, I'm just like everybody else. I don't like to partake in broccoli, and I still eat it because it is very good for you. And you said if you knew what I knew about vegetables, you would eat more vegetables.
I did say that to you. Mm-hmm. I did say that to you. Wow. I'm surprised you remember that.
I'm not going to lie. I have no idea why I eat vegetables, because they don't taste as good as the Doritos that come in Doritos bags, or
right.
All the other salty fast foods that we have here in the States.
Right. Yeah, it's
world
tough.
Now. But I have been eating a lot of vegetables lately. Mm-hmm. Mainly because there's a jiu-jitsu tournament coming up in about 2 weeks. But no, I do want to start making a small difference, mainly for myself. I'm not going to lie. This is it's a selfish reason. I want to be healthy.
Yeah. I don't think that's selfish. I think that's smart.
But apparently it's according to this documentary, it's actually going to help the world too. So, with your expertise, because you have a degree in exercise science, can you please tell me what it is that I do not know about vegetables?
Well, I'm pretty sure you already know quite a lot, because I've already told you some. But for one thing, vegetables is considered a carbohydrate. Everything you eat is either protein, fat, carbohydrate, or a mixture. So fruits and vegetables are considered carbohydrates, which I think a lot of people don't really understand. They think, carbohydrates is pasta and bread. Mm-hmm. They don't really see fruits and vegetables as carbohydrates, because our fantastic government has set up that food pyramid.
They don't do that anymore, though, do they?
It's not exactly a pyramid. I mean, it is still a pyramid, but they added like steps to one side, and they show someone like running up the steps.
To encourage exercise?
Yeah, they included that. But anyways, so fruits and vegetables are a form of carbohydrates. And in your body turns all carbohydrates into glucose. So every kind of carbohydrate, whether it's candy, whether it's bread, whether it's potatoes or broccoli, your body turns it all into glucose.
Simple carbohydrates or obviously simple. And
right.
Complex, though?
Complex ones, yes. The reason why complex ones are called complex is because some of it can't be digested.
And that's why your poops come out so smooth.
Right.
When you eat a lot of vegetables.
And the stuff that you can't digest feeds the gut bacteria. It feeds the bacteria that live inside of you, in your gut, in your
Which is
intestines.
a good thing.
It's a very good thing. It's huge. I mean, there's all kinds of research being done about how your gut bacteria, in a sense, control all kinds of things, your immune system, your neurological system. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Anyways.
They're starting to find out that it actually affects your mood too, which only makes sense. The better you feel, the nicer you're going to be.
Yeah. It's crazy. We have this really cool symbiotic relationship with our gut bacteria. Anyways, so that's why complex carbs are called complex, because there's fiber and your body can't digest the fiber, but the gut bacteria that lives inside of you can, and they use that to help stay healthy, which keeps you healthy. Okay, so fruits and vegetables are carbs. It gets turned into glucose in your body. Mm-hmm. But what else is in fruits and vegetables is a lot of stuff that we evolved eating. So fruits and vegetables come from the ground, and they essentially get all their nutrients, like all the vitamins and minerals, from the ground. Which in turn we ingest, and we get those vitamins and minerals, which we're better able to absorb. Because there's tons of people that are like, I get my vitamins and minerals from Centrum, the pill, whatever. Mm-hmm. But a lot of that stuff isn't really bioavailable, and you can't digest it as readily as fruits and vegetables. So there's just all kinds of benefits to it. The phytochemicals in it that help fight free radicals, which help reduce your risk of cancer. I mean, just it's crazy. I mean, the benefits of it is so amazing. It just does so much for you. There's so many nutrients found in fruits and vegetables that are just so beneficial. So it's not just the vitamins and minerals. It's all the phytochemicals. It's all the fiber and all the other nutrients.
Plus, you said it's good for your gut flora.
Right. It's good for your gut flora. Yeah.
So, yeah. Obviously, fruits and vegetables are very good. Can we go into... I learned from you that there are many different types of sugars.
Mm-hmm.
In fruit, the sugar that is in fruit is called fructose. The sugar that is in milk is called lactose.
Yes.
And the sugar that you get, like in a package that's made, like cane sugar, is sucrose.
Right.
Now, sucrose is the bad sugar. Can I label it the bad sugar?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you could say it's the bad sugar.
Whereas
it's the processed sugar.
Whereas lactose in milk is a much healthier sugar. Like, I mean, in my head, it goes sucrose has horns and lactose has like maybe a halo and some wings.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, lactose, because it's natural, comes from a living being. Typically cows, but humans too make lactose in their milk. It's natural. I'm trying to think of what exactly lactose is. It's like glucose and galactose. So there's actually other chemical components to lactose, but because it's naturally made by a living being, it's much healthier for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I assume fructose is... You said there was one study that was done that said fructose, people who partook in, got their sugars from fruits. And then I guess there was another group that got their sugars from...
Yeah, because that's another thing I hear is people will say, well, sugar is sugar is sugar, and your body all processes it the same way, but that's not true either.
Even though it all gets turned into glucose?
Even though it all gets turned into glucose, your body still processes it differently.
Oh, my.
Yeah. So fructose is healthier for you to eat than sucrose.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's end on a positive note.
Okay.
Elon Musk can save us.
By sending us to Mars or something? We're going to live on Mars.
Well, think about it. We're really good at heating up planets, and we do need to warm up Mars just a little bit. So let's go over there and warm that place up.
Yeah.
No, he was in the documentary too. And
oh, really?
Yeah, he said that if his company could make 100 of these, they were called Gigatech something, Gigatech factories or something. They basically make solar panels. They said that if there were 100 of those factories making solar panels, it would provide energy for the entire Earth. But obviously Tesla can only afford to make, well, they're still not done with the one, apparently. But yeah, I've got a lot of faith in him. I think he can save all of us.
In the meantime, maybe eat more fruits and vegetables and not so much beef.
Yeah. And drive less. I'm guilty of that one.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Buy a Tesla. I've always wanted to buy a Tesla. Just can't afford it right now. But he's trying to make it more affordable because Elon Musk seems like a great guy. So if I were a woman, I'd date him over Leonardo DiCaprio. All right. Anyway, thanks for listening to the Cool Story Bride podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Thanks for doing this, babe. I enjoyed that one.
I know. They're all so short.